George. How are you doing?
Great. How are you, Mike?
Excellent. Excellent.
Yes.
Well, we're going to talk about the project where we worked with Dexcom. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your role with the company.
Well, my name is Jorge Valdes, and I was with Dexcom for about 12 years. I started running the R&D department, and before we went commercial, I took over operations and IT, and I had that role, as I mentioned, for about 12 years. I led all of the major product developments all the way from the 3rd generation up to the 5th generation that was released, and partly the 6th generation. And what Dexcom makes is a continuous glucose sensor that gives you your readings every 5 minutes, and you can see it on your phone, you can see it on your Apple Watch, and that really helps people with type 1 diabetes.
Excellent, excellent. How did you learn about Lawless Consulting?
We were in the middle of a project that had been ongoing for a while, and it was a very complicated project related to the applicator that helps insert the glucose sensor. And my VP of engineering introduced me to Mike along the way to help us where we were stuck on the project.
Excellent, excellent. So tell us about that project. What were your goals and ambitions, and what kind of issues did you have with the Archer project?
Okay, so the Archer project was, as I mentioned, was a new applicator, which is a device that basically inserts the glucose sensor slightly under the skin so that it can measure. We have been working on that applicator at the point that we brought in Lawless for about 2 years, and the design was not making progress. We had tried multiple variations of the design, and we were not getting to a design that we could actually take into production and that would work reliably, because also the company was scaling rather massively, and we needed a design that would be built in volumes of 50 to 100 million, and we were nowhere close to that. So we went outside for expertise.
Excellent. So tell us about the services that Lawless Consulting provided for you and how that operated.
So I think the advantage that we got from Lawless Consulting that we would never gotten from another consulting firm or hiring specific consultants is that to finish that applicator, we needed access to quite a breadth of different expertise. There was a lot of issues of transferring to manufacturing, a lot of issues with manufacturing and volume, a lot of mechanical design issues, a lot of materials issues. So there was a lot of different, there was also a user kind of interface on how the product was going to work. So there was a lot of different disciplines that needed to be brought in to really finish the product and get it to the stage that we needed to launch it. And Lawless was able to bring together all those different disciplines onto the project with a single interface point, which I think was a tremendous benefit over trying to have gathered all those different disciplines, separately one by one.
Excellent, excellent. Well, what did you like the most about your experience working with Lawless Consulting and the engineering and the reviews and all that? What did you like the most?
Well, I think we had a great experience. I think the communication, both at the project level and to the executive team, was very effective because we had communications on a regular basis about the issues that were going on. I think the quality of the work that was done was very high. Everything that was done very thoroughly. Everything was done analytically, which you need to do when you're building a product in those kinds of volumes, because you can't afford failures, and you have to keep in mind that this is a medical device. So it's not, it's serious when it fails. So I do think it was very high quality work and very good communication. And on a personal level, I think the relationship with Mike.
What makes, I think you answered this one already somewhat, but what makes our company different, Lawless Consulting, and our work with you?
I think what made the company different was just the number of skill sets that Mike had access to that he could bring on to a project. That would have been very difficult to have done it one consultant at a time, and for us to manage that, and the fact that Mike had access to all of those disciplines and was able to manage them under him really simplified the whole process.
Excellent. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your experience on working with Lawless Consulting and Archer?
I would rate the experience on the project a 10. It was a very successful project. Dexcom has sold hundreds of millions of the product since it went commercial, and the project was a success. Gotten to that point if it wasn't for Lawless.
Excellent. So would you recommend our company to a friend or, an associate, and why?
I would highly recommend Mike and it's exactly for what I said. I think Lawless Consulting, when you have a complicated product that needs access to a lot of different disciplines, brings a tremendous amount of value about being able to get you access to those disciplines, and not just access to those disciplines, but access to top-notch people in all of those disciplines and bring them together as needed on a project. So yes, I would highly recommend them.